elevation of wealth to players makes some fans think more than ever, hey, you can take a little beer on you. Let's talk to a Hall of Famer in our studio, six-time All-Pro defensive back, Rod Woodson, Super Bowl champ, Defensive Player of the Year in the 90s. Okay, I know at some point in your career, in the division you played in, you got beer thrown on you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's, you know, it's a part of it. I mean, if you're on the road and you make a play and you run into the stands, what do you think's going to happen? They're not going to like say, "Oh, we love you," even though we don't. You're not our team.
Now, do you feel
kiss you?
Do you feel threatened, Rod, or do you think it's somewhat?
I think it's funny.
See, now that's what
I played in the old dog pound. Now, the old dog pound, they weren't playing around because they were going to throw snowballs. They would put batteries inside the snowballs.
Oh,
and you know how you get the snowball wet?
Yes.
And then it freezes?
Yes.
With the battery inside? Don't win. If we're winning, you'd never take your helmet off because snowballs are going to be coming.
So this is my thing is, listen, it is jarring to see the video, middle fingers and stuff being thrown at them. But I look at the players who have helmets, and I watch the players' reaction to it, and they almost know this is part of the territory.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Like, I'm not encouraging it, but I'm saying I got a helmet on, fans are drunk and obnoxious, and that first couple rows, this is, I mean, again.
I mean,
That is a group of people who have never had hands put on them before in their life.
But, you know, it's not real life. All right, this is not real life. We're playing, first of all, it's a game. All right? Everybody gets paid a lot of money to play this game. It's not changing the world, so to speak, okay?
Right.
And I think we're having fun with it. And I think that all players understand it.
See, that's my point. I do think players get, we're on the road, I'm in the end zone, I just scored, I'm going to get crap. I'm
not saying they shouldn't, I told you before, it was probably worse back in the day. The battery thing is well known.
It definitely was. And I remember walking off. I'm with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We play the Los Angeles Raiders.
Oh, good Lord.
We're getting off the bus. We're just getting off the bus, going down into our little tunnel. And the women, the stuff that they were saying, they're like, "You MFer, you suck." And I'm like, that's a woman talking like that.
Right.
I was like, you know what? We have to get into the locker room because they might beat the crap out of us.
You know what I think it is? You know, Joy, do you remember the show Jerry Springer?
Yes, of course.
Okay, it was vulgar. It was vulgar. But the audience was in on the joke.
Right.
I think the players are in on this garbage behavior.
And it's as long as you don't put your hands.
Exactly. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. You can say whatever you want to. You can throw the beer on me because I've had beer thrown on me. That's okay, but don't touch me.
That's my thing.
If you touch me,
then we got a problem.
You're getting a two-piece.
Now, okay, so I'm watching the Cowboys, and, you know, I was thinking about this. People are like, Dak Prescott's career doesn't make a lot of sense. He comes into the league, everybody passes on him 3 times, and then his rookie year, he's amazing, and the next year and a half, he's no good, and then last night, he's amazing. Couldn't I just say this, Rod? You played in this league forever. This is what average quarterbacks are. He's absolutely telling us what he is. Okay, when Breeze has a bad Sunday, it's an outlier. Brady, Rodgers, Ben. No, this is what Ryan Tannehill gives us. It's what Dak gives us. It's what Andy Dalton gives us. Dak is telling us, in our confusion to figure out what he is, he's telling us what he is. He's an average quarterback, and they have backups and average quarterbacks. Ryan Fitzpatrick, hot in September, dead by October. When I watch Dak, I'm no longer angry or disappointed. If you go look at him after his rookie start when nobody had any video on him, he's a little above 500,
right.
Completes about 62%, which is average considering the time now, has 17 picks. He has a mid-80s quarterback rating. That's with Zeke. That's with stability. That's with a better-than-average offensive line. I just see an average quarterback.
You know, when you look at, you know, his rookie year was really good. He struggled last year. To me, I think you start evaluating players in their 3rd year. This is his 3rd year. He is who he is. I enjoyed watching him play last night because I think he even realized who he is. He's going to get the first read. He's going to look at the second read.
And then he's out.
And then he's done.
That's right.
Get out of there.
He's done.
That's who he is, but that's okay because they can win that way. As long as you give Ezekiel Elliott the football at least 25 to 30 touches, through carries or catches, he has to touch the football. If they can do that, because the defense is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. They really are. So him being average, they can win that way because the defense can carry this football team. Dak, I just don't think he needs to be embarrassed about it. He's not going to be a guy that sits back there and have 300-yard games.
That's not who he is.
That's not who he is.
He's had 3 in his career in a passing era.
And they don't need it for them to win. So as long as he takes care of the football and he can make some great plays scrambling and throwing the ball to his playmakers in space, which he doesn't have that many playmakers in space, but the guys he does have, as long as he gets them the football, they're going to be fine.
I thought that was at his best. A lot of Cole Beasley, a little bit of scrambling, a lot of Zeke, and that's what they do. And I thought last night was like, that's what Dak at his best is. Oh, he runs about a dozen times.
Yes.
He has a good running game. He has a good slot, dependable slot receiver, high percentage underneath throws. Yep. By the way, Brady makes a living off Julian Edelman. There's nothing wrong with a great slot wide receiver. That's the world we live in. So everybody's complaining that you can't hit anybody in football. But I would argue this, is that I love great football players. I want Rod Woodson to play forever. The fact that we now force big, violent defensive players to be more thoughtful and mindful, I watched that game last night. Yeah. None of the stars got hurt. By the way, still great defensive plays, still a pass rush. I mean, it's not like football players defensively have always been offense is choreography, defenses blow stuff up.
Right.
We're just now asking defensive players, oh, you have to be strategic too. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, you know, it's tougher to play in today's game than when I played because I was a physical player.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick up guys, slam them. I want to hit guys as hard as I can. You have to be careful. But the key is you can't let the flags being thrown dictate to you as a player how you're going to play. And Speaks, who had Tom Brady in his hands and then let him go and then he scored, he will remember that forever, and he will always bring down a quarterback nowadays.
Right.
For the rest of his career, however long he plays, every time he hits a quarterback, he's not going to let him go. He's going to tackle the quarterback and bring him to the ground. The hardest thing is when you watch guys play is like, you know, where do you understand there's a strike zone. So when you're teaching your DBs or your linebackers to hit people, hit ball carriers, there's a strike zone. You can't hit them too high. You can hit them as low as you want to. But what you're seeing today is tackling is terrible right now in the National Football League.
Right.
It is absolutely awful. I mean, guys are going to their knees. They're tackling ankles. Hit them in the numbers. Hit them in the numbers. We used to teach the rugby-style tackling, so heads behind the ball. So if you both put your head down, there's no head collision. So you're not going to have any penalties. That's what we taught in Oakland. And, you know, I think has to be a way where you still can be physical, but you can't be too physical because if it's a violent hit, they're going to throw the flag. They're going to throw the flag and say it's head-to-head contact.
But by the way, you watched last night. You enjoyed last night. What did you make of it? You know, I said this to start the show. If you've been on a turbulent flight, I'm sure many times in your life.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're sitting, doesn't matter if you're first class or the last seat in coach. You get a little nervous. You're flying over, you know, Nebraska, and you're getting tossed, and there's lightning. And then when if you ever talk to a pilot, and he's like, oh, that's just what we do. He goes, you're freaking out back there. Right. He's like, I've been hit by lightning 4 times in the cockpit. Is that the 2-minute drill in most of your career, there was chaos at the end of it. To watch the precision and the nonchalance last night of Brady, it feels like, Rod, he has mastered it. Like he has. He has completely mastered the position.
There's nothing that he could see from the defensive side that he's never saw before. That's the first thing. Secondly, I think they start the 2-minute drill with 3:03 in the clock, about 3 minutes on the clock, with 3 timeouts. That's the world, especially to Tom Brady. And they ran the football, and I remember they ran it, and it was probably going right before a 2-minute warning.
Yeah,
so
they came out and ran it again.
And ran it again. And then Tom walked off and let 15 seconds run off the clock. But he was around the 35-yard line. That's a lot of time with 3 timeouts for Tom Brady, let alone any other person.
But my entire life, when you're at the 30, your own 30, you are literally get to the line, spike the ball. They were milking the clock. They were staying in bounds.
And I think it would have been different if the game wasn't tied. The game being tied, you just kick a field goal, you win. Now, if they're down by 4, you got to get a touchdown, it would have been more hurry up because you got to get down there to have better opportunities.
3 or 4 shots at the end zone.
Absolutely. So being tied made it a little bit easier for Tom Brady. But then watching him just go through the motions, it was so easy for him.
So easy.
And it's because there's nothing that he hasn't seen. He's been in the league for so long. He's gone through so much, so many coordinators. And I'm pretty sure he has a really good idea what coordinators do. And when he saw the matchups.
Well, Bob Sutton, he's gone up against Bob Sutton multiple times.
And I'm telling you what, as soon as the ball was snapped, when he hit Gronk, his eyes went straight to Gronk. And when he was backing out of it, when he saw Gronk, like, get to the outside, his eyes lit up. And he just threw it. I'm like, he's wide open. And that's something that most quarterbacks cannot do. Most quarterbacks can't find the matchups that benefit their offense.
Tom
on a consistent
finds
basis.
it
He sees
before
it just
the
like
ball
that.
is snapped.
And that is terrifying when you can give a guy that good when he can see everything before the ball snapped.
Yeah, at one point, Andy Reid turned to Bob Sutton and just went, he was just like,
what can you do?
Well, what can we do? They're completely controlling us. Rod Woodson, Hall of Famer, good seeing you. Coming up next, I do think I've come to a conclusion, having watched every team play 4 and 5 times. We're down to about 9 teams I think can win the Super Bowl, and a couple others I just need